Hi, everybody. It's Linda G, and it's Monday with Mel.
Hi. Hi, Linda.
I like your shirt. Very nice.
Well, this whole thing.
Are you in the office today?
No, I'm at home.
Okay, because today's a holiday.
Anytime you see this background, that means I'm at home.
Okay.
Uh, at the office, you'll always see the moon
Yeah,
background.
that's right. That's right. I love that drawing, by the way.
Isn't that cool? My
I was just telling Mel I watched BAFTA Awards last night, and Conclave
conclave.
won Best Picture.
That
That
was
was
a
a good movie.
was an excellent movie. I was just
I
riveted.
finally watched that one with the actress won Best Actress. Andorra or something like that.
I didn't see it. I have to watch.
Oh no, I hadn't watched it. Never mind. I was gonna watch it. I was gonna watch it, but then I thought I was too tired and I would probably fall asleep. So I watched the SNL special.
There you go. I didn't watch that either.
Oh my God. I gotta tell you, it was one of the best things I've ever seen. Hysterical. Only they had some rap people on singing at one point, and I can't handle rap.
My favorite comedic actress of all time on that show was Gilda Radner when she did Emily Latilda, the old lady, or when she did Rosanna Dana.
They had a lot of stuff on her
You
at the
know,
thing, but anybody that was anybody was there.
especially when
Jack Nicholson showed up.
wow, especially when it's the one she goes to the gym or something, and I saw Dr. Joy's brother. She had a sweat ball on her nose. That was hysterical.
Yeah, I didn't really watch it back in those younger days,
I did. Oh, I did.
but if I was in college, I was still living at home and nobody had the TV on that late.
I was in college and I worked in a pizzeria, and every Saturday night they had this widescreen TV with the old big box and the three lights, the green, the yellow, and the blue, and I mean the red, the green, and the blue, and they would project on the screen, and you know the it wasn't a real clear picture,
Right.
but it was in those days it was like, oh my God. And
My
we
favorite group from the Saturday Night Live was when Phil Hartman was on.
but we used to watch every Saturday night, and Jane with the old crew like Jane Curtin, Gilda
Yeah.
Radner, those people. It was wild. We had a great time. Anyway,
They had Meryl Streep. She played the mother to that great actress. I can't think of her name. The blonde one. She's so funny. She's gay. I can't think of her name.
Joan
Anyway,
Crawford.
she's the one that plays what?
Joan Crawford, you mean?
No. She's the one that plays the gal that got sucked up by a UFO.
Oh, okay.
And everybody's talking about the wonderful experience they had. She said, I got ripped up and my pants got taken off and my butthole was hanging out and oh my God. And they were playing with my boobies. And so Meryl Streep came on as her mother.
Oh, wow.
And Meryl Streep said, now she was just like her with the cigarette, sitting with her legs widespread. She said, the last time I got a Brazilian, his name was Diego, and he got strep throat. And then she said, it's so weird because I thought my ex-husband was a extraterrestrial, what do you call them?
Alien.
And it's so weird. I thought my ex-husband was an alien. Come to find out he was just uncircumcised. Oh my God. But it was fantastic. I just back to back busting up laughing. I saved it. I didn't delete it. I'll watch it again.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
Anyway, I got an infomercial really quick. I have openings on Peru for September. It's going to be an incredible trip. It will sell out. Please call my office 847-590-5411. Also, I have openings for Iceland. Deb is coming. Linda's sister is coming with us to Iceland. That's
Did
gonna,
she confirm that?
yes, she did. And
Did she say if my other cousin is coming?
cousin is coming too.
Fantastic.
So I'm excited about that. So come with us. You'll have a blast. And I want to say hi to Andrew from Androniki, still using the products. And
Yeah. I
still,
just used it this morning on my hands, on my face.
um, I asked him maybe on a Monday, on my show, if he could just come on for maybe 15, 20 minutes and we could both talk to him about the product.
Maybe talk about the ingredients and how he came up with the idea.
It's pretty spiritual, actually. That's why I wanted to have him on.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Anyway, so infomercial done. Okay.
You want to ask me the first question?
Yeah, I've got a bunch of them. So let's
So do
get.
I. Thank you guys for the questions.
Yes, thank you. Sharon Donnelly says, and this is a really good question. Hi, Mel and Linda. The SAVE Act is geared, I don't know the acronym of that, but I know what it is. The SAVE Act is geared to taking voting rights away from married women. Will that impact lesbian couples too and disqualify both women? Thanks in advance.
Oh, they'd love to do that, but they're not going to be able to.
We're trying to restrict women's rights, of course.
Of
Uh,
course.
but Linda and I talked about it before the show. And Linda, what did you say? You said you didn't feel it going through, correct?
No, and I feel if they brought it to the Supreme Court would slap it down.
Well, it's I think it will go through the courts and the courts are going to say absolutely not. You cannot take away women's right to vote.
Yeah, it'll be reneged. They'll try and it'll be reneged.
But then I heard Donald Trump, not with anything to do with say, but then he said, I'm really not breaking the law. I'm doing so because I want to say, I'm doing what I'm doing because I want to save the country, and that's not breaking the law. That sounds to me like he's thinking about declaring martial law.
Oh, he'd love to. And let me tell you something else. They think everything they're putting in place, like, first of all, Elon Musk is lying about fraud. They say there was so much fraud, but they don't give you any evidence.
The word honesty and truth to Trump and his regime is like paper or pen or
Well,
light.
it's like when they said that the vote was stolen from him. And how many times did he go before the court? 63. And each time they said, show us something. Fair enough, show us some proof. And they couldn't show proof because it was a lie.
Well, for him, the word lie, most of us, if we lie about something like that, we have a conscience. It bothers us, doesn't bother him. Like I said, the word love, lie, cheat, steal for him means like paper, pen. It has no emotional value. You know, in my intuitive opinion, and it's not a diagnosis, it's my intuitive opinion, he's a sociopath and he's putting all these sociopaths in the government, and that's very frightening. That's what happened in Germany when Hitler came to power. And I understand that Vance is going to have or had a meeting or is going to have a meeting with the neo-Nazi groups at the old Reich headquarters in Germany. And he's trying to sway the election. He wants the I think her name is Weisel. He wants her in, and I hope
But
she
did
does.
you see what's going on? It was on 60 Minutes last night.
I didn't see it.
Germany's not putting up with it.
Good, because if
They're
she
taking
didn't,
people in that talk that stuff on the internet or anything hate crime related. They're grabbing them as fast as they're coming out.
if Weisel wins, you know, Germany's in trouble and Europe is in trouble. In fact, the European nations are meeting now. Germany, the UK, Italy, Poland, Spain, Netherlands, Denmark, and the European Union are meeting at Elysee Palace. I mispronounced that in France to talk about Trump saying that he sent the message when he was there that he's ready to embrace the Kremlin. And they know he's trying to weaken and just give the middle finger to our alliances in
Yeah.
Europe. And that's frightening too. But
And he's trying to screw over Ukraine, even though he acts like he's a peacemaker.
oh, well, when they come forward and say, well, Ukraine's not going to get any of that territory back and they agree not to join NATO ever, in the beginning, before Putin took over, or tried, I'm sorry, before Putin invaded the Ukraine, Putin didn't want them to join NATO, and they said they wouldn't. They did what Putin wanted, and he still invaded.
He's still invading. I wouldn't trust him as far as I can throw.
Don't trust Donald Trump as the
But
far.
but I'm going to tell you, do you feel like NATO will be kind of shut down for now because Europe will realize that they can't depend on the United States?
I don't think NATO will shut.
Trump's already saying he's coming out of NATO.
Well, I don't know if he can do that because we have a treaty with them. He can,
Well,
but
you had a treaty with the Native Americans and they're still running them over.
of course. But the thing is, he and Putin think it's going to weaken NATO. That's the whole idea. My guys have been telling me that for a very long time because if they can weaken NATO, then they can take over Europe. Russia can. So Putin thinks. My intuitive prediction tells me that it'll actually strengthen NATO. And they'll get some countries involved that have never been involved before to help, send funds to Ukraine and this and that. So for a while, it looks like it might weaken NATO, but I still see NATO holding together. I still
I
see the
see Trump just being such a, I know you said he can't, but he does what he wants.
he can, but the bottom line is it's not going to weaken NATO as much as he thinks it's going to because even if he pulls out, NATO is not going to disband. They're going to get other countries involved to help them out. And it's not, it might look for a nanosecond like it weakens them, but I see NATO staying NATO, even if Trump does pull out.
Well, there's going to be a surprise attack. Okay. So that could mean even a different NATO country like Poland getting a surprise attack.
Yeah,
Something will make people very upset, which is going to cause a huge shakeup. Look at that.
it's upsetting to them now.
A big shakeup. And then a big city's involved. So wherever this attack, it might be even a terrorist action in like New York or something. But something's getting ready to happen. And I saw military use, and I saw the bottom line is we actually find out who did it. It's Russia,
I see a
Russia
lot
and Iran.
of, um, I see something like that as well, but I also see people in this country in mass protesting.
Oh,
Like,
they're already starting. There's a
oh,
big protest today. Yeah.
you haven't seen anything yet. I just watched the movie Civil War.
Yeah, I
It's
saw that years ago.
Well, yeah, it's about a civil war in this country, and it's very frightening. I would suggest people watch it
Yeah.
because up. But he's going to try to weaken NATO. But NATO will not disband. And as I said, I see other countries coming in to help NATO, and because they don't want Putin invading their countries either.
Well, they also know they can't depend on the US.
That's true. That's correct. So after Trump is out of office, we're going to lose a lot of allies, and it's going to be difficult to gain them back because they're going to be like, what if this happens in America
Yeah.
again? But our democracy will hold, and our
Yeah.
union will stand, and justice will prevail. Abraham Lincoln keeps telling me that. So, all right, your turn.
US District Judge John Bates did not block Dodge Musk from access to three departments, Labor, Health, and CFPB, Consumer Financial. Why? What will be the outcome of allowing Musk to stick his nose in these three departments along with the Treasury breach that's already occurred? Will
What
anyone else block Musk since Judge Bates did not? Thanks.
what I see coming is that decision by Judge Bates will be appealed,
Okay.
and I see an higher court overturning Judge Bates' decision,
Okay.
telling the Trump administration you can't do that. Now, my feeling is they'll go ahead and defy the court and do it.
Yeah.
Because Trump is already saying I get to do what I want.
Right. I do feel like he thinks he can defy the courts. But this is when I got this flash, and I'm going to talk about it on another show. I got a psychic flash of military coming in and taking him out, taking Trump out, not by gun, but by you're under arrest, sir. Come with us.
Well, they say that there's a precedent that you can't arrest a sitting president, but it's not a law. It's just a rule of
No,
thumb.
but here's the other thing. If he's committing treason, if he's trying to start a war, or if he's saying our men and women need to go boots on the ground in Russia, oh hell no, because they're going to threaten the Ukraine. You don't listen to what America says and give us all that money because he's saying for all the money we gave you, we deserve your, So of course, then what they'll say no, and they'll say, yeah, go ahead, Russia. And by the by, we'll send some of our men in there. That's when he's going to get in big trouble.
Well, here again, it's not a law that you can't arrest a sitting
Right.
president. I think it's a procedural rule of thumb kind of thing, but
Yeah,
it's
it's not in the Constitution.
not a law. I don't.
No, and it's the FBI. They said you can't, pursue. And no, they should have pursued him anyway. We wouldn't be in
Well,
this position.
I think behind closed doors, there's certain justices on the Supreme Court who voted for that whole presidential immunity thing that are sorry that they did that now.
I feel Justice Roberts is very upset,
He is I don't know about
but I don't feel anything from Thomas, almost like he's flatlined.
nothing. Um, but Trump will try to stack the courts. Um, and here again, for a while, it'll look like he's succeeding with all the stuff he's doing. But like my guys always say, it's a cliche. It'll look as if he wins some battles, but they say he will not win the war.
Well, he's going to hurt regular folks on the street.
Well, look
He's
at what
messing with the farmers. He's messing with everybody. It's like, let him eat cake and wait till they start coming forward and marching.
well,
And he'll probably order the military to shoot at the people who are marching.
JD Vance is smarter than Donald Trump, so is Elon Musk. As much as I hate to say it, I despise them, but they're not stupid. I mean, JD Vance went to Yale. But the bottom line is, I think they're just throwing things at the wall to see what will stick.
Yeah,
He's always thought that, he's superior to women and JD Vance anyway, in my opinion. This is my psychic opinion. So for them to try to mess with women's votes, and women are a very, very strong force in this country. So what they're really trying to do is take away constituent votes. And they don't realize it, but what they're trying to do is say, okay, but then your husband can vote twice, once for you and once for himself.
that's a bunch of malarkey. It's not going to go through.
I know, but I know what they're trying to do. But what they're doing at the end of the day is hurting themselves.
Yeah.
All righty.
Oh, right now, yeah, they're really hurting themselves because they're hurting. And you should see the percentage the polls are doing. The percentage of people who don't agree with what Trump's not even releasing the January 6th. 76% of Americans don't think he should have done that.
We'll wait until they start paying $15, $10 for a dozen eggs. And when the price of
It's up
groceries,
to 10 now.
well, and the price of groceries goes sky high.
Our gas out here is going through the roof.
I'm sorry, what is?
Gas.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say
Oh,
gas.
and by the way, they got rid of a whole bunch of new FAA people.
I saw that too.
I mean, you're supposed to fly out to I'll tell you, I'd be a little shook up about flying.
I'm not worried about flying at all. That doesn't scare me. I'm
You
not,
think they'll
I'm
be
not,
okay?
I'm not seeing any crashes for myself or for any of my people. So my feeling is it'll be all right.
I
Um,
know, but are other people going to get hurt from this?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
But because of that, the public outcry, they're going to have to put more workers with the FAA. Elon Musk, before Trump won, well, when Trump wins, Americans are just going to have to tighten their belt. Excuse me, Mr. Musk, middle finger to you, sir, because you're telling us to tighten our belts, but by us tightening our belts, you're making billions and
Yeah.
greasing your own fat pockets. So, no, Mr. Musk, you tighten your belt.
I got a flash too, by the way. I'll just say this and you can tell me if you feel anything. I got a flash of somebody doing something to one of his projects, satellite projects.
I say that too.
The America was really good. I mean, we sent a virus to the Iran where it went into their computer system and it literally ruined all their nuclear availability, like melted it down.
Right.
We did that. I think this was on 60 Minutes.
I see his satellites out of the sky. That's what I see.
Yeah. And then if we can do that, because I'm telling you right now, the intel is gathering. The intel is gathering and they're having conversations about what can we do to get rid of these people. They're ruining this country.
I see Elon Musk's satellites out of the sky.
Okay.
It'll take 2 or 3 years, but I see them out. Or certain malware sent that will just
Yeah.
totally
I think
fry their life.
Elon and Trump will be gone in less than 2 years.
That's what I see too. Absolutely. Okay. Is it my turn to ask or yours? I don't even.
It's your turn.
Okay. This is a good one. Rachel. Hi, Rachel. The book from the 1890s called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey seems to predict the Trump family future. The correlations between this story and others cannot be coincidental. Can you shed some light on the origins of these stories? Unfortunately, I can't because I haven't read it. I will read it now, and then I feel more qualified to shed some light on it. But um, a lot of things that have been written were eerily prophetic.
I know.
What's going on now?
Well, it's terrible. It's like I said, cancer was terrible, what it did to me and my family. But I thank it now because it put me in a direction that's way better. And I see the United States going in a direction that's way better. May I say, I don't see that all that long that other nations will let us in. Some people are saying it'll take a while to trust us again. I feel they'll be so grateful we got rid of that orange crush.
I
I just
still,
feel it's
I
going to be good.
still feel like they're going to be cautious though, because
Yeah.
they're going to be thinking, how do we know this won't happen again? But I see massive changes to the laws and things like that, that if we get another rogue president like Trump, then uh, so if they do start acting rogue, there'll be
Well, see,
systems.
we're going to take over by such a landslide. We will change that amendment. We will say they're going to be between the ages of 35 and 70. I was just reading what the Democrats are planning to do. And they're going to make sure you can't be a felon.
What I was going to say though was they're going to make sure that if another president comes in that is rogue or tries to be rogue, that there will be systems in place other than a convicted felon to be able to, other than impeachment, to say, you cannot do this, and we have the enforcement rights to stop you.
Exactly.
All right.
So this is a good one. What's going on with Hakeem Jeffries? He's just sort of telling everybody, well, they have the House, they have the Senate, and they have the executive branch. What can we do? We can't, he got a real Debbie Downer thing going there. So what's up with Hakeem?
Well, there's a part of him I think that feels defeated by it. That's what I pick
Mhm.
up psychically. But there's another part of him that's going to come out loud and clear and start speaking up about a lot of this. Uh, I
A
see,
lot of people are mad at him for being the Debbie Downer.
I know, I see a lot of Dems behind the scenes, and I see this new leader of the Democratic Party is going to be wildly outspoken. And I see a candidate coming that's going to be more outspoken than Trump, more fiery than Trump, and is going to be proactive as opposed to reactive. The problem with Jeffries right
Yeah.
now is being reactive, not proactive. I guess the question is, will he become a bit more proactive? And the answer is yes.
What's the social media got to do with him?
With Hakeem? Well, I think a lot of it is coming from the MAGAs and, them planning stories about him to kind of make him look weak or something.
Yeah, but what's going to happen? The MAGAs are going to say, "Please get us out of here. We don't want to be around this Trump guy. He's ruining our lives." Oh, wait till they touch Medicaid. Wait till they start.
Or trying to gut
Oh,
Social Security. He's going to try, but he
well,
won't.
I see them trying to change the rules on Social Security with an executive order, which is not the way to do it.
I don't think he can do that, but he'll try. Absolutely.
And also, what do you think about that Gaza Strip? Why do I feel that he really thinks he's entitled to it? It's really weird.
My Trump thinks he's entitled to anything that he wants. It's like what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine. And if I want this, I can take it and you can't say anything. That's his
Right.
mentality. Um, I'm sure he's already cut deals with Netanyahu and with, Jared Kushner. I think Netanyahu is Kushner's godfather or something. I don't know.
I
Something.
don't know.
Um, anyway,
I don't care.
he's already cutting deals with Kushner and all of them, as he says, to make the Gaza Strip the Riviera of the Middle East. Not going to work.
It's not going to happen.
Nope. I see Israel being a separate state, but I also see Palestine becoming a separate state.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I see them having a peaceful coexistence in the future, just not right now, unfortunately.
Yeah. That Netanyahu's going to go down. I can't help it, you guys. I know I've been saying it till I'm blue in the face, and I'm so sorry it hasn't happened yet. Of course, we can't wish anything bad on anyone, entertainment purposes only. I've always saw those two, Netanyahu and Putin. And by the way, today's the anniversary of um, Navalny's death.
Um, well, he's loud and strong today. Uh,
Hmm.
and in today's President's Day, I honor the office of the President of the United States. I don't honor the person in it.
Yeah.
The same as I'm pro-Israel. I'm not pro-Netanyahu. Uh,
No.
but
And a
I,
lot of the Israelites, they don't like what Netanyahu's doing.
but I'm also being told that Palestine has their people have their rights and they'll have a separate country.
Can you believe even China said you can't pull those people up? China said it.
Right, right. So, China might even help NATO at some point. I know it sounds
I got
crazy.
to tell you guys, and please, just put this down for entertainment purposes only. I actually see China, and I've seen this. I talked about this years ago, actually coming forward and helping us out somewhat.
I think they're going to help NATO. That's what I pick up psychically. So, anyway, all right. This is a really good question. And
Okay.
I like this question. It's really
God, you guys give such good questions.
kind of bittersweet, but what will happen to Haskell Indian Nations University, Lawrence, Kansas? They received notification that 30% of their staff has been dismissed last Friday. They won't even be able to continue classes, lost teachers, etc. Do you see this being reversed?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely going to be reversed. I can't tell you when, though. Let me look real quick.
I think they're talking about Native Americans,
By
Haskell.
the way, Robert Kennedy Jr. stopped the 900 physicians that were working for the natives. They don't hardly get paid nothing.
Right.
And they fired 900 and something. The next day, Robert Kennedy said, no, don't do that. So that was a plus.
Well, maybe he'll end up, being more of a Democrat than we thought. But I see this thing with Haskell Indian Nations University going to court, and the court might say it's discriminatory and they can't do it. It's going to take a while. I don't see that the Indian Nations University closing completely. And at
Yeah,
some point, I feel within the next 4 or 5 years, it'll be resurrected. That's what I see.
we're going to have a lot of floods and some heavy rains, you guys, coming up. And we're already going that. So there's some urgent action. They may lose, like you said, in the court, but I see some sort of reprieve or something happening with the new president.
So do I.
They'll fix it. But I'll tell you what, I hate to say it because these are my people, especially in Oklahoma. My own tribe voted for Trump.
Well,
What?
maybe all of them didn't, but
No, but oh, not my cousins and stuff. But the thing that the basics of a native person is they don't like liars. They don't like people that brag either.
mm-mm,
And he's a braggart and he's a liar. And it's like, I'm so shocked, but I will tell you, and my mother had a little bit of this, you guys, and I'm ashamed to tell you. But my mother was a little prejudiced against other Mexicans.
right.
She was half Mexican, half Native. And she didn't want the Mexicans to have, she's been in this country. She's a native. She didn't like Mexicans coming and having more than what she had. Do you see what I'm saying? There was a jealousy. Whereas my dad never said one negative word.
And
But
I
that it's something with that thing. I know they were even having a meeting with the chief, and they were kind of saying, my grandfather, my great great grandfather was a kidnapped Mexican. So he was of Mexican blood, but he was kidnapped when he was 6 years old. So the tribe automatically put him down in the Dawes to have a number. But by the way, his wife, my great great grandmother, was half Comanche. So they start you off with a an allotment number, and that's basically 100%. You're a native. They were saying anybody of Mexican blood shouldn't be allowed to have a
I
number.
think you hit something that
But
really rung a bell with me, and my psychic flash cube went off. Um, and I think that any dictator, not any, but many dictators gain popularity by vilifying or blaming a smaller, marginalized, a small group of people for all the ills of what's going on in the country. But what you hit on really gave me cold chills. And what's going on in this country, because somebody asked here in the questions about here, what's the spiritual basis behind MAGA follows and conspiracy theories? Here it is. When you said your mom didn't want them to have more than she had,
then, yeah.
and that's what's going on. If there's people in this country that see our Mexican brothers and sisters doing really well, they get jealous. Well,
Oh,
they
but they're not willing to work hard like they do.
correct, correct. But I'm jealous because they have more than I do. And then they think that our Mexican brothers and sisters get more from the government, and that is not true.
Right, right.
No. So they see them just like in Europe before Hitler took power. Jewish people were very educated. Not
Oh,
all. There were some poor Jews, many poor Jews, but a lot of them, were educated. They were smart, and they made, did quite well. And a lot of people were jealous because that minority did better than they did
oh,
economically.
yeah,
And Hitler played on that. And that's exactly what's going on in this country.
yeah,
And what you just said explains it all to me.
yeah.
So that's the answer to this question about how did MAGA followers uh, become have this much power? Well, because you vilify a smaller group of people, and some of the in that group, amass wealth and nice things, and the majority then gets jealous.
Right, right. Exactly.
But
Your turn.
what's going on in this country is an American apartheid. It's a small group of white ultra right-wing nationalists telling the rest of us what to do, and that's what was happening in South Africa under apartheid. And Elon Musk's parents were a product of that. And so therefore so was he. And that's what he's trying to do here. But he ultimately will not succeed. I just want to reassure everybody of that.
You know what I just got while you were talking? I just kept seeing explosions. I
Yes.
think there's going to be people that are going to create such chaos for Trump. They're going to be blowing things up. That's what I saw.
Oh, absolutely. I've been seeing that for a very long time. I just didn't want to make it public. So,
But not necessarily killing innocent people.
no, 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 no.
No.
Just saying we've had it. This country's going to be, if we're already going into a constitutional crisis, my guides have told me that. And I think we're already in a bloodless civil war. Unfortunately, I do see violence.
Yes, unfortunately. But
Um,
I did see something when I woke up this morning. I saw somebody implanting some sort of bomb within the center. It could have just been, I don't know if that's what it was, but somebody's going to blow up Musk's ability to send off a missile. They're going to destroy it.
um,
Like
I,
they're doing with his cars. Everybody,
I,
especially in Germany, they're
I agree with your vision. And many people in this car aren't even going to be buying those products. Uh,
Yeah.
here's a good one.
What?
It's your turn. Go ahead. It's your
No,
turn.
it's your turn.
Okay. Bamboo Sultana. I love that name, Bamboo
That's so
Sultana.
cool.
Isn't that cool? Some of these names, I'm like, yes. I'm a little envious. I think, damn, I wish
I
I would.
wish that when I came on YouTube, I'd have been more creative, but I just said Linda Grindle.
Me too. Mel Dore, Aloha shirt. Oh. All right. Um, how do you intuit this situation with the Department of Education? I'm a teacher, and half of the population of my department teaches has left due to the Orange's policies. Half in her department have left
Just
because,
recently, did she say, or?
will my department teaching English to second language learners be eliminated?
Yep.
Yes, it will.
Sorry, you guys. I saw loud and clear. They don't want you to do anything to help anybody speak English.
Well, what happened is that, right during the Tea Party movement, this goes back to the early 2000s. Well, within 30 years, this country, whites will be a minority and English will no longer be the language of the country. And they played on that.
Yeah.
And um, and it's here again, that xenophobia that
It's
keeps.
unfortunate, but yes, they will absolutely shatter the department. Let me tell you, when we come
You know
back
what else they're
together,
gonna
we start piecing things together, we'll piece it better.
and you know what else they're gonna do? They're gonna try to
What?
get rid of special education.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
My one son was in, uh, special ed. My other son was a genius and he was in that, what do you call, for kids with high
gifted,
IQs?
gifted and creative.
He got all kinds of cool stuff to be in that, and that really helped him. But I feel bad for the kids that in there now because they're cutting all that out.
Right. Um, go ahead. It's your turn, Linda.
And don't forget, like our friend Dan, who is a teacher, he's going to retire next year. And I said, Dan, so what's going to happen to you guys with all these support? And he's not worried about it at all. He said New Jersey only gets a little tiny percentage of federal money. And I think the same is for California.
What's going to happen is states will secede without saying they have seceded.
Oh, really? Define.
For example, California funds so many other states. And if Trump tries to F around with that, all California has to do is say, okay, those states who really are pro-Trump and you're going to mess with us, we're not going to fund you anymore.
Yeah, but what they do is we give so much tax money to the federal government and then they allocate it accordingly. How do
Right.
we prevent them from giving it to like out? He just gave a state of emergency for Alabama because they would have terrible flooding.
Well, Kentucky did too. There's 11 dead in Kentucky.
Oh,
So let's
Jesus.
send prayers
Yeah.
down there. Okay. But Trump is breaking the law, and JD Vance says, well, we get to do what we want. The courts can't do anything. So some of the states are going to say, well, if that's the case, then we can get to do what we want to do, and we're just not going to give you that money, to the federal government. And what's Trump going to do? If he's not going to pay attention to what the court says, so states are going to start striking back that way.
Okay. But the states like New Jersey and probably California, I don't know how much percentage they get from the Fed. But I feel like, unfortunately, the blue states are going to be okay. It's the other people that are going to suffer.
Well, because California, did they really need that money from the Fed? Because they're funding everything else,
Yeah.
and as is New Jersey. So
Well, if
all
we're not funding things for them, then we'll have more money to fund for our children.
correct, and they're going to say, "Wait a minute, but you've cut special ed, you've cut all these social programs, you've cut all of this. So what is happening to the money that we're sending you? It's going in the politician's
Exactly.
pocket." And the
Exactly.
states will say, "We're not going to send it to you if you're going to defund all these programs illegally."
Oh, listen, was in a state of emergency. Biden called it right away. And Trump's trying to act like, well, you have to do this and that. He didn't say any of that to Alabama. He didn't say, well, you need to. No, But
Unfor-
oh, here's a good question.
Well, that's what I mean, secession without seceding.
Well, okay. Uh, New York Governor Ca Kathy Hochul, will she remove the disgraced mayor Eric Adams?
Yes,
Ooh,
because Trump pardoned him, right?
yeah. A bunch of people quit because he made them to do that.
But that he can pardon him federally, but Trump has no pardon power over the state. So the state can say you might have been pardoned federally, but the state is going to file
So is
charges.
that what Letitia James was saying? They were going to go back to the drawing board and get him on state.
Correct.
Let me just look real quick, okay? Let me just throw
He's
real
going
quick.
to get convicted, and he's going to do
Oh,
jail.
he's going to get convicted. And they had him like this and bragged about, yeah, we told him, you better do what we say.
So by virtue of the fact Trump pardoned him, it either tells you Trump got paid off for that, or that you do what I want you to do.
Yeah, I think she will get rid of him. People will be happy.
She's going to get
But
rid of him.
listen, he wants to run again. And he was saying, if I have to, I'll run as a Republican. I don't care if he runs as a cartoon character. He's still not going to win.
But how does that work? So you break the law, you're a convicted felon, or you're going to be a convicted felon. You get
Mhm.
pardoned, and then you run on the other party because they're a party of thugs and putting convicted felons in office. Is that how it works in this country?
Yeah,
Right. I mean, hello. This is a really good question. There's some really good questions here
I'll
today.
tell you, we got great people.
Yeah, we do. People are starting to speak up, and I can tell by the way they're asking these questions, and that's what they need to do. Okay, she says, what's happening in this country is so horrific. Hallelujah,
Yeah.
Colleen. The judicial side is failing as they are ignoring orders. Do you see a military coup happening to save our democracy and the rule of law? Also, do you see the US invading Canada and Greenland? We will
God, no.
not invade Canada or Greenland. They would need congressional approval, but the military declined based on the Constitution. Malcolm Nance said 70% of the military would defy Trump. I think more would defy Trump,
I
about
do too. I
5%.
do too. Like if they try to get him to go to work for Russia and Ukraine, forget about it.
Um, she said the judicial side is failing. It's not failing, but the judicial has a hard time enforcing. So typically federally, they would call federal marshals, go
Yeah,
arrest.
they've already called him, I think, in contempt, right?
Right,
But
right,
Trump's out there at the last press thing and said he would follow their orders, but he would appeal it.
right. But the bottom line is they're not. And the
No,
bottom line is the court, if they call in the federal marshals, who controls them? Trump does. The
okay.
Department of Justice does. So
But you know, I saw military gathered and going in and taking Trump out.
I'll tell you who's going to be in deep trouble too is Pam Bondi,
Oh,
the
she
Attorney
is.
General. Uh, and I don't think RFK is going to get in any trouble. He's just so ridiculous
She's
that.
just kind of an idiot. Yeah.
So anyway, that was a really good question, Colleen.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Well, I just want to tell you guys that I see military going in, and I see the generals the big time generals, the ones that mean something, not Hedgehog, who's by the way still drinking. They're talking about him being altered. Um,
Well, he's going to be drunk and come to some kind of congressional hearing or something. It's going to be obvious that he's intoxicated.
I know
The
it's,
outcry is going to be like, what?
but no one will say anything because he's Trump's thing.
Oh, there'll be people that'll comment on it.
Well, there. I, Also, Trump doesn't like alcoholism.
Right.
He's against it.
I,
So,
I see some Republican members in the House and Senate growing a set and start to speak up against some of this stuff.
all
They're
we
gonna
need is
have,
three.
right. They're going to
That's
have to.
all we need. So do you think they'll actually touch Social Security and Medicare?
They'll try, but they won't succeed.
I just see so many people. When do you see the stock market start to, it's already starting, but when do you see the collision?
I see a huge fall in the stock market with these tariffs and all of that. I I don't know if it's March or April. My timing's a little off, but there's a huge hit coming. Uh,
Okay.
and it's going to be hard for it to recover. It
Well,
will.
in March, I've been telling people, and astrologers have been saying big upsets in March and April, especially towards Trump.
That's what I see coming. Um, Go ahead.
Um, who's running the United States? Elon Musk, Stephen Miller, Donald Trump? Donald
Elon
Trump,
Musk.
they know is not well. So they're just,
Elon Musk is, and so
yeah,
is Miller, but Elon Musk more.
yeah.
King King Elon. Okay. Well, this is a good question. Anne says, will any states turn blue because of everything that's happening with Trump? Yes. The answer is yes.
You know, I had said Trump's own people would turn on him. Someone just mentioned this to me. And do you know that first person that refused to drop the charges against Eric? That was a full-on Trumpster. The one he put in office, who we thought she would do what he says. She says, I can't. I cannot rightfully drop the charges. And then six other people followed behind her.
See, it just takes one. And that's what I
Yeah.
start to see in the House and the Senate. And I know you're right because you did your side take. And whenever you do that side take, it's always right on the money.
No, that's because I like this view better. I'm just kidding. Okay, you got another question?
Botox side, right? Okay. Helen Arjish, I can't pronounce it. Hello. Why did the idiot go after the Kennedy Center? What was the purpose since he said that he never attended? Uh, is his diaper in a twist?
Oh, it's so sad.
What happened?
President Kennedy's, that was President Kennedy's baby. And now he's in charge and the chairman of the board, and he's put his own people in there on the board. And they stopped some children's thing from happening because they were talking about being changing your sex or something. So of course that was a no-no. But everybody's canceling. Anybody that was supposed to be performing there is canceling. This is just moment. This is like if he could, he'd take over the academy, the board of the academy. He wants people to think he's fantastic. He wants people to adore him. But I will never, my sister and I both said, we will never watch the Kennedy Center honors again, not while he's in office.
Well, he equates himself with Abraham Lincoln. He equates himself with Kennedy. I'm the best president, and he's not. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl because he was there.
Yeah, but they did. I didn't see him on the Super Bowl. I watched for some of the commercials. I wasn't going to watch it, but apparently, and I love this, there was video of him and there was people cheering. And I thought, oh, I could have swore I told everybody he would be booed, but that was Fox News. They dubbed in cheering.
Right.
When you get the raw footage, and there was some guy who said my sister-in-law was there and said she could hear audible booing. And when you actually get the raw footage, they're booing, calling him a traitor. It's beautiful.
There you go. And he said they were booing Taylor
Oh
Swift.
yeah, he was. Yeah, they did boo her when they put the picture on her because she's the girlfriend. There was more Philadelphia people there than there was Kansas City.
Got it. That's why.
My Dan told me that Philadelphia's got a real tough fan base. So,
Well, I was for
you know,
Philadelphia.
the woman that makes millions and gives a good portion of it to help the poor and help people. But, you know, no, you're the girlfriend of the Kelsey, whatever. So that's a big deal.
Well, that too shall end, but
Yeah.
um,
I think she's going to have a baby with him. I think she's going to end up marrying him. He's talking about quitting football now.
I don't think it'll last long, but go ahead.
I think it'll last long, but we can differ.
Okay, yeah. Well, I hope I'm wrong for her sake.
Okay, what's your question?
Um, Candace Terry, this is a good one. Do you see a major international conflict coming up for the U.S.? Yes, I do.
Oh, what do you see?
Well, it could be like you said, even if boots on the ground somewhere in Europe, uh, could even be talking about Trump putting boots on the ground in Ukraine or somewhere. I don't think that's quite it, but I do see Trump trying to invade like Panama or doing something like that. And ooh, it's going to not look good in the worldview. And Trump's going to not care because Putin can do it. I can do it.
Yeah, but he's just not going to work. That may be when he gets the top brass goes in and arrests him and takes him out.
Well, my flash bulb just went on, and behind the scenes, my guides have just told me that Trump is going to try to engineer something to make an excuse to invade something like Panama, like they didn't do whatever they were going to do, or something to use an excuse to divert everybody's attention to lie and deceive. And that would be the justification he would use. Just like Putin said that, he invaded Ukraine because there were neo-Nazis there.
Yeah, it was a total lie.
It was right. Trump is going to use some kind of
Just
rhetoric.
like Elon, Social Security had 100, they're paying 150-year-olds. No, that's their computer system. That's what happens when you
Right.
need to go back and check on that particular person.
So he'll invent some kind of excuse that really isn't real to try to
And
invade.
then what do you see? Will he actually start it, or do we actually have boots on the ground?
He'll start it, but I see the pushback is going to be so intense that he'll have to stop. I mean,
Well, can you imagine being the wife, the mother, the daughter, your child is over there fighting for something they may lose their life over that orange head? Oh my God.
my guides tell me, they still tell me the women will bring him down.
Women will bring him down.
Yep, that's right. So this thing they're trying to do with women's votes, there's going to be so
Oh,
much.
it's not going to happen. That's bad enough they took away. Oh, and they're trying to take away even having the pill.
I don't know.
And now somebody is trying to start that conception happens with when with the sperm. And people are saying, well, then if the minute you're pregnant, and you got to sue the guy, and then he has to pay child support from that moment on.
But I'll bet you if a guy wanted a vasectomy, they'd pay for it in a heartbeat.
Oh, well, a lot of guys are getting vasectomies. A lot of
Exactly.
guys don't want to be stuck with this.
No,
Not no ability to make any kind of, the ones who are dying, the young women who are dying are the ones who already have a family or they're in a relationship and they have a child that died in utero and they won't take it out. And then so they get infected and septic and they die.
right. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's
It's been happening. So
I
what do
think
you think about the bird flu? I'm hearing a lot of flags on the bird flu. Is this an actual pandemic that's happening again?
well, even if it did become a pandemic, we wouldn't know about it because Trump has silenced the World Health Organization. Well, he did that because he figured if there's any more pandemics, he doesn't want to look bad.
Yeah.
Um, there is a flu epidemic going around in Europe and here too. In fact, in Czech Republic, they closed schools because of it. Um, the bird flu,
I wouldn't it be nice if Trump gets the flu?
the bird flu, my prediction will be pandemic, but all other countries will do things to stop it, except this country. And what they're going to
There's
do,
a lot of people right now are dying in California from the flu.
and what's going to happen if it is bird flu, they're going to say it was something else, not bird flu. But the doctors will leak it out. And then they're not going to come up with vaccines. The same thing as with COVID. I don't think we'll have a shutdown, but it's going to get bad, you
Yeah,
know?
and they're not going to force people to get injections.
Right, exactly.
Not so sad.
I know, it's very sad. Will Donald Trump help Florida during hurricane season since he is planning to gut FEMA? Thank you both for all you do for us. He's not going to help a lot of these
I
states.
see him saying yes and then not giving them anything.
He'll give them a little, But you hit on something, and my light bulb went on again. He'll help the red states, but a lot of blue states that are going to be impacted by this climate change, and these storms are going to be fierce. Um, he's going to withhold help from them.
Oh, well, but you got to give him something for it.
Right. And those states will file suit that what he's doing is being discriminatory.
Oh yeah. Well, he already did it with the other one. The he remember he was only they even sent that Jared Kushner thought he was so cute. He sent broken machines to New York. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And he
Absolutely.
thought he was really smart.
They didn't work.
Listen, all that stuff is going to come to haunt them. It's going to be bad.
Oh, it's there's going to be so much coming to the surface.
Well, no, I mean on the other side. Uh,
Yeah,
He's going to
exactly.
burn down there, just like Elon Musk cutting that aid and just without any notice or anything and causing children. And
The
it's
worst
just,
part is, Linda, they don't have a moral compass. They don't care. They
they don't
only
care.
care about putting more
And
money.
they said it's like one third of the not third, one something of the budget. And they're acting like we're ripping them off.
Here's their philosophy. It's like Stalin said. One person being murdered or being killed is a tragedy. A million people is a statistic, and that's how they view it.
Okay.
They don't have a moral compass.
There's going
We
to be some news coming up, you guys. I'll do another video after this. I'm going to talk to the presidents who are on the other side. I'm feeling something's coming up.
So do I. It's huge. Whatever it is, it's huge.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
do we have time for one or two more, or is that it?
well, if you don't mind going over an hour, I'm comfortable.
Okay. All right. I'm too. All right, sweetie. Next week you're on my channel.
Yes, yes.
See. So anyway, Peru, Iceland, come. It'll be safe flying, I promise. And you'll have a great time and come with us.
Now, what's the dates for Peru again?
Peru is September the 16th through the 29th, and Iceland is October the 1st.
Okay. So is
So
Deb's going to Iceland?
Deb's going to Iceland. I'm excited. I love Deb, and I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Listen, she's got a great sense of humor. Her humor is drier than mine. Well, she can say things. One time she came to my dad at the bedside when my dad was so sick, and she had these scratches down her chest, just obvious scratches. And we both looked at her and said, "My God, Deb, what happened?" And she goes, "Kitty didn't want a hug." I was hysterical.
Yeah,
So
she's
yeah, she really enjoys having a good time. She's got a lot more energy than me. She doesn't need to rest like I do. She's up and going and she's able to walk long distances.
well, when I'm working, right? But
Yeah, but
still,
you will really have a good time with her.
I'm excited. Anyway, she's also very psychic herself.
Yeah, and my cousin too. She's a sweetheart. She's the
Yeah.
one my Uncle Tip died.
Oh,
She's the daughter, and her and Deb get along well. They went, where did they go together? Spain. So they know how to travel together. They get along good.
we're gonna have a blast. But
Oh
anyway,
yeah.
all right, sweetie. Next week, my channel, same place, same time.
All right, honey. You take care.
Bye.
Bye.